Our opening is of the horror genre. In terms of characters, our opening uses the conventions of a real production, as the antagonist is usually male. For example, Jigsaw in Saw. There is also commonly a weaker female character in real horror movies, which we represented using the two girls. Our opening develops this with the use of two female characters rather than just one, which isn't as common. Our opening does, however, also challenge the conventions in terms of characters by having the antagonist play the lead role. This isn't particularly common in a real media production. For example, in The Woman in Black, the lead role is Arthur Kips, the protagonist, rather than the antagonist. Our use of mise-en-scène uses the conventions of a real product to create a sinister effect. A key theme that we played upon in the opening is innocence, which is used in a large amount of horror openings. We use mise-en-scène to represent this. The costume and makeup of the two girls, as well as the actors and setting, all help to add to the theme and atmosphere. Our opening develops this by presenting this theme more explicitly with the use of a young child's toys and bedroom being used by a teenager rather than that of the child themselves, which would be expected as it is more common. An example of this would be the young girls playing with their dolls and toys in the opening to The Woman in Black. The costume of the male lead challenges the typical conventions because he appears to be an average working man. A more common convention would be him to disguise like the Joker in Spider-Man or again Jigsaw in Saw. The use of minimal dialogue is a convention of a horror product. For example, the opening to Halloween includes only a chant about Halloween night and the simple words trick or treat. The use of minimal dialogue creates enigma and ensures that the atmosphere is continuous and uninterrupted. Our opening develops this by using no dialogue at all, which is used in a small amount of other films, for example Sweeney Todd, but is much less common. Typical sound used in a real horror product is tense, music that builds suspense. We decided to challenge this by using the sound from a music box to create a sinister atmosphere, and we thought that the overall pace and action of our opening would build the needed tension instead. In terms of foley sounds, our opening follows the common conventions using the sounds of footsteps, knives and creaking doors / gates. Sounds like these are also used in a higher proportion of horror films. We use a high amount of close-up shots in our opening using the forms and conventions of a real media product because these types of shots create enigma, which is key in a film. Close-up shots are used in a high amount of openings and also in full film lengths. The Conjuring and previously mentioned Woman in Black both use close-up shots effectively in their openings. We developed this by using quick shots that flash up during the main chronological action to create more explicit enigma. We use two production logos, Dark Cloud and Insanity Productions. This is common in real media as they usually have the institution and the studio. For example, A Nightmare on Elm Street was produced by Media Home Entertainment and Smart Egg Pictures. Our first production logo, Dark Cloud, uses the conventions of a real media product as it is extremely professional feel to it. The sound of a thunderstorm also uses the typical conventions of the horror genre. Our second institution logo, Insanity Productions, uses the horror genre in more depth using the colour red for the title and bats as the action. The sound used also creates an eerie and sinister atmosphere typical of the horror genre. The titles that we use in our opening challenge that of a real horror product. As an audience, you would expect the titles to be in blood, red, and to be in fonts such as Chiller, like the titles in the Rocky Horror Picture Show. However, our titles are in white and appear quite fragile to represent the themes in our opening in more detail.